Alrighty, now the first story we got going on is Godwinson versus the Kino Casino. Okay, now Godwinson, if you didn't know, he is a former associate of PPP, alright? The Kino Casino is a co-host show by PPP and Andy Worski, alright? And recently, Godwinson went mask off and he did a full takedown of the Kino Casino, okay? He uploaded 2 videos, alright? And yeah, I figured we should take a look at them to, really just investigate what's going on, alright? Yeah. All right. Now the first whole 6 minutes of this is used mostly just to background the Kino Casino and his relationship with PPP. Now we're getting into the juicy stuff. All right. Now let's get into we're getting into the Dick Masterson backstory. Okay. If you don't know who Dick Masterson is, he's gonna get into it here. Yeah, and keep this story in mind because it pertains to later. All right.
Dick Masterson of Dr. Phil fame had entered the AugieRFC and decided to create a Patreon alternative after some creators have been banned from the platform. This was in keeping with Masterson's free speech, zero censorship, anything goes code of ethics. The Patreon alternative he set up was called New Project 2. And a few creators in the sector joined the site. Jim, Josh, Gator, Ralph, and a litany of other characters that we all know and love. But as time rolled on, there were a few things about New Project 2 that raised questions. Like, why hadn't any effort gone into the website itself? Why had no attention been spent on its terms of service? Why did it seem...
I mean, it's pretty obvious why no effort was put into the terms of service. It's because, this site was made for people who were banned off of other sites, right? So why would they spend a whole bunch of time banning other people, right? There's probably going to be a lot of edgy figures on here, all right? That's no secret.
that only friends of Dick Masterson could join the site. New Project 2 was...
I mean, that's just probably because you only wanted his friends. I don't know, dude. Like, it's not that big of a deal, man.
fertile ground for someone to come along and start building their name on getting to the truth of the matter. It was PPP who stepped up to that plate. He famously got onto a stream with Dick Masterson and rose to prominence. He got a lot of people to listen to his message, and soon more and more questions were being asked about New Project 2. Like, why were people being asked for their social security numbers in order to be on the website? Who was handling the information? Were people's personal and financial details being compromised? Question after question after question mounted up, and the pressure was on Dick Masterson to start providing answers. But the answers that came seemed opaque and not direct. They didn't explain...
I don't know, dude. If you willingly put in your fucking if you put in your social security number to donate to someone, man, like, shit, dude, you're a more dedicated fan than me, man. I would not in a million years would I ever willingly, like, put in my social security number and expect anything good to come from that out of some sketchy fucking donation website, nonetheless.
Explain things in a way that reassured people. And instead of addressing the noise about New Project 2 head-on, Masterson decided to antagonize a forum of users where the majority of these questions were being asked. He decided to wage war on the Kiwi farms, or as he would now call it, the Karen farms. Now, in that stream where PPP and Dick Masterson met on the battlefield...
That's so cringe, by the way. The Karen farms, really? Shut up, man. Shut up.
Masterson's claims were that he was more successful, better looking, had a higher viewership than PPP. He said that he was the prom king and living in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills.
So, look, it is obvious that Dick, for legal reasons, has to have everybody's social security numbers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you admit you have access to people's social security numbers.
I'm pretty sure I got a 1099 from New Project 2.
Yeah, you got a 1099.
Yeah. Shut up. Wait, let me talk.
No, I know. Hey,
What have you interrupting me for? What have you ever done in your life? I'm a fucking...
Oh, I know. What have you done? You've been Dr. Phil in a Pizza Hut commercial.
But he's telling you that the data isn't on his...
Do you know what I've done, Dick? Do you know what I've done in my life? I've saved souls.
Yeah, you know me.
Jesus Christ. Have you ever
Do it with your voice, please.
Go ahead, tell me.
Giga Chad move, okay? No, now normally this shit works, right? Like, I guess normal communities, like BTFOing someone like this, just like, it shits on him, all right? It's good. Now, but like in like this like weird in like this community though, where it's like all these like pseudo-intellectual with like their pseudo-intellectual ass audience, like just insulting someone doesn't really work that well, and that's probably why Dick Masterson got a lot of shit for this,
What do you know?
I live in a...
It's also why PPP gets a lot of shit later, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Barbie's dream mansion in a hill.
That's all that matters.
You Canadian prick. Yeah, it is all that matters because I go out of here, I fuck my girlfriend in a fucking mansion. Meanwhile, you and whoever you have in the background, you fucking hype man, stick your thumbs up each other's asses and jerk each other off, telling you what a great job you did. It does fucking matter.
You're a real cool dude, Dick. You're a real cool dude.
It was desperate one-upmanship. It didn't go down well with his audience and actually had the opposite effect of turning more people to PPP's side. Users on Kiwi farms even fact-checked Masterson's boasts and discovered that the Barbie dream mansion in the Hollywood Hills was, in reality, this. A crack shack.
Dude, imagine you claiming to you claimed to have a mansion and this is your fucking house, dude. Oh my god, man.
On the outskirts of Compton. The rising tide was against Masterson, as it had been conclusively revealed that the Emperor had no clothes. Josh, Noll, the owner and operator of the Kiwi farms, seemed initially to resist the rising tide of users who'd had enough of Masterson's shenanigans. He defended Masterson's description of his home as a mansion. People were confused by this. They wondered why Josh would behave this way. The explanation given was that Masterson was Josh's friend, which is fair enough. But what is friendship if you can't laugh when one of you is being a retard?
I mean, yeah, true, dude. If my friend said they lived in a mansion, being 100% serious, dude, I would expose the shit out of them, okay? Like, they'd get fucking shot on. They would never, ever be able to return. Okay, it'd be over forever. You have no idea. Yeah.
What about Dick? He's an alcoholic. I'm like, well, I guess you got me there. I don't know what to think. I'm not someone who will cut someone off. I'm not someone who will, in a way like Dick. Dick will probably never disavow Ethan Ralph. You know, he didn't disavow Digibro. He didn't disavow anyone. But I'm reluctant to say like, oh, I just want nothing to do with Dick.
People started to look deeper into the Josh Masterson connection in order to try and explain the motive for why things were being swept up. It came to light that Josh was one of the highest earners on New Project 2, and it was netting
Of course, dude. If
him just shy of $2,000 a month. It was clear that there was some sort of conflict of interest. Eventually, a man called Vordrak performed some dark arts, magic, sacrificed a baby, killed a goat, drank its blood, and New Project 2 was deplatformed from its payment processor, and the saga came to an ignominious end. But the legacy of the arc was that PPP, the man who started the fire, cost Josh $2,000 a month by leading a crusade against the website that was paying him. PPP, the righteous anti-grifter who wasn't compromised by being in the pocket of Masterson, mounted his charge against a scummy website that seemed like a scam and didn't explain to the public who was handling people's private, personal, financial details, how it was being handled.
PPP is so goofy, man. Like, even after all this, I can't find like a bone in my body to hate him. Like, look at this fucker, dude. He's so goofy, man.
Handled, and whether or not a list of users was being kept in order to be potentially exchanged to illicit forces for money.
Woohoo! All right. That's the first clip we got. Now, second clip here is the power chat stuff, and now you're gonna see how that last story he told pertains now. All right, let's get right into this.
But one of the big questions that entered my mind right from the beginning was this: why is this thing called power chat being promoted by the Kino Casino as the primary way of donating to them? Why didn't they promote something else, more credible, stream elements, or hell, even enable YouTube's own super chatting facility?
I mean, yeah, that's true. You know, the reason they're probably not using another form of payment is most likely because they'd get banned off it almost immediately, you know. So it's not even worth it to them to, you know, open up a stream elements or some shit like that, right? And opening themselves up to super chats would probably just get them banned from that, right? Which would then most likely stagger their channel. So I can understand why they're not doing that. However, power chat, as you'll come to find out, is especially sketchy, okay? So they definitely should have used a more credible secondary platform for this, right? Like there's no denying that.
It was very strange to me that the Power Chat was primarily the platform where donations were being asked to be sent to. So I looked into Power Chat, and I discovered that Power Chat was a payment processor for IP2, and is and always has been linked to people like Lulz, Baked Alaska, Nick Fuentes, America First. It's murky. It's really, really seedy and always has been. Even from before episode 1 of the Kino Casino.
See, now though, if it is so tightly linked to these people, why were Andy Worski and why wasn't the Kino Casino banned, right? Because if you didn't know, the Kino Casino is very critical of, I guess not Baked Alaska, but Nick Fuentes at the least, right? They dunk on him all the time for being effeminate and all that shit, right? So you know, why if they're so connected, why are they banned? Why aren't they banned, right?
PPP was warned not to use Power Chat because of these questions. All of us knew that this would come back to haunt you. What's for live news alerts? Right, so let's get into this. Let's fucking do this. So
I fucking hate this like flashback shit they do, man. I hate this. I hate this filter. Stop.
Power Chat is the primary way that PPP and Worski get their super chats. Now, this is a fucking suspicious, sketchy-ass motherfucking site. This is shady as fuck. It definitely looks like something, and probably is something, probably definitely 100% is something, that harvests your personal details. So, why didn't Worski and PPP stop using Power Chat when they were told to? Why didn't they stop? They instead doubled down. It was suspicious as fuck, ladies and gentlemen. And now it turns out, folks, that Power Chat is 50% owned by Baked Alaska.
What? No. I mean, like, I guess he called it, you know, and I guess that sort of answers my question earlier about why weren't they banned. It's because they aren't, like, I haven't seen anything from them, you know, attacking Baked Alaska. I imagine they have in the past before, though. Probably not nearly as much as they've attacked Nick Fuentes, though, right? And so, yeah, that's probably why. And, you know, Baked Alaska sucks, man. I would never touch anything that any project he's involved with like a 6-foot pole, man. I fucking hate Baked Alaska. He's a criminal, okay? Fuck him.
Baked fucking Alaska. You can't write this shit, folks. Baked Alaska, a known federal informant, owns a 50% share.
I don't know if he's a federal informant, bro. You think he if you didn't know, Make the Last Go was at the January 6th Capitol raids, all right? And do you think he was snitching at in Nancy Pelosi's office? Was he writing down all the YouTubers and then he like what they've done wrong and put in that like did he have a piece of paper with everyone with all the power chat personal information, just put that shit in Nancy Pelosi's office, bro?
In Power Chat. So PPP and Warski have knowingly used a federal informant's website to host their super chats.
Have they knowingly used it though? I don't think they've knowingly used it, right? Like, I don't know.
They knew all along. Now this is a website.
How did they know all along? Did you tell them? I need proof that you told them. I don't believe you.
That harvests incredibly significant amounts of personal data, your credit card details, your address, your...
I've seen no evidence of it harvesting your data, but I wouldn't be surprised since Baked Alaska owns 50% of it, you know? Like, yeah.
phone number, your name. It needs and takes everything from you in order to sell it on to the highest bidder. You've all been sold out, folks.
I love how dramatic he is. He's sold out to the highest bidder. Okay. Oh my god, dude. Oh. Alright, next clip. So this whole middle part is kind of repetitive. He dedicates it to basically stating that the Kino Casino is very repetitive, right? Like they only attack Ethan Ralph, Nick Fuentes, and you know all those other people over there, and it gets boring after a while, you know, like there's nothing of substance really there, right? And now in this next segment, he's gonna talk about his specific appearance on the Kino Casino, all right?
Now, full disclosure, I made an appearance on the Kino Casino and was paid upfront £500, which amounts to something like 800 Canadian dollars. I want to explain the reason why I was there and what was going on behind the scenes. I had been contacted by PPP after a long absence from the internet, and I was told that Warski was being fired imminently, and whether or not I would be available to replace him as the permanent co-host. The reason why Warski was being fired was self-evident, really, but it mainly boiled down to Warski going on holiday, not to Portugal with his family as he lied to the audience about, but instead flying out to see some catfish in the US on the proviso that he would have sex with her. He didn't. She refused to sleep with Warski or even kiss him. And Warski, after...
See, how did Godwinson know this? Did PPP tell him? Like, and if PPP knew this, why did Worski tell PPP? I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Full week, flew back to his parents' house and seethed on Discord. When Warski went on this jaunt, PPP put on a series of shows with Persip, the King of Pol, the Squire of Gothos, and Culture War Criminal. The wheels of the show kept turning, even though Warski was away, and the money was secured. We fast forward to a month or so later, where PPP is unable to make a couple of Kino Casino episodes. And instead of Warski putting on the show in PPP's absence, instead of putting on a good show or even a show, and delivering to the audience, there was no show. Warski didn't lift a finger. In fact, he never does. The reality of how the Kino Casino was made and put together is that Persip and the Squire sit there all week prepping the show, gathering clips and notes. It is then briefed to PPP extensively in multi-hour-long calls. The show is seemingly locked down, and then literally 30 minutes before the show goes live on a Friday night, PPP tells Warski what the show is about, and Warski puts in absolutely zero effort into the show prep whatsoever. He turns up every week and expects that PPP has prepared the show for him to grift off of. And Warski, believe it or not, has the right to veto anything he doesn't like on the show, like some sort of shit king. And if PPP doesn't do the preparation because either he's on holiday or ill, then the show doesn't get made. Warski then gets 50% of all the money made for his retarded laughter, his inability to speak, and his cringeworthy Instagram shilling. Woo, lat.
Yeah, so I guess the allegation here is that Andy Worski's lazy as fuck, and PPP wanted to replace him. Now, to be fair, if somebody acted like this, like if I was putting in like 90% of the effort and was getting only a 50% return with this other retard, I would do the same probably. You know, I would not like that. Right, but I think what Andy Worski mainly provides is his personality, which Godwinson plays it up like nobody fucking likes Andy. Andy is admittedly kind of funny, okay, and he also brings his reputable name, right? Before this, not a lot of people knew who PPP was, right? But a lot of people knew who Andy Worski was because he was bigger in the Ralph circle, you know. Like, it's the reality, bro. And then And then here he talks about how he's going to replace Andy, so
yeah, PPP explained to me
that it's
so because of this behaviour, Warski was being fired imminently. And I agreed to come aboard and right the ship. I had many discussions with PPP where we hammered out the new direction of the show. We were going to pivot away from Ralph and Fuentes and start a crusade against RedTube and Vouch and plough new, fertile, creative furrow. We were going to do 2 shows a week and do away with the Wednesday rakeback show. The casino was still going to be on a Friday, but the Saturday was going to be a new show where there were going to be blood sports debates of old where 2 retards would scream at each other just like in the Golden Age. The pay...
Dude, I would have unironically loved that. I love Stardust and all the stuff. If you know who Stardust is, she's a YouTube channel that puts out a lot of debates on her channel. You know, a lot of panels all about all that other shit, right? And a lot of them are pretty respectful, but that's pretty boring at times. Okay, what I want is like you said, two retards to really go at it. Fucking attack each other. All right, that's what I really want. All right, you have no idea. Soy.
War content, the Gumroad content, was actually going to have effort put into it, and no longer would the audience be disrespected by having to pay for 90-day fiancé reviews. Instead, the content was going to be edited videos like this one you're watching right here, and PPP solo videos ranting like he used to back in the day. Warski wasn't fired, and it became apparent to me that PPP wasn't in the position of being able to dethrone Warski. It turns out that the Kino Casino was Warski's show. He had always been the one in control, and whether or not PPP likes it, he is unable to get rid of Warski. PPP...
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know how PPP realistically expected to do this, right? Considering Andy Worski is half the show, right? You can't just take the channel and everything with it and just say, nope, you're gone, right? Like, I don't know. Especially, like, PPP would have had to known, like, he didn't own or make the channel, right? So, like, I don't know.
He had signed a pact with the devil and willingly relegated himself to the category of Geek Thulu, Alex, and Kyla. Sorry, guys. I gave you a taste of what could have been, but now it will never be.
Rip. All right. And now we're talking back to Power Chat, all right?
Attention back to the Power Chat, to Josh Moon, a man who rightly deserves some sort of retribution after PPP led a crusade against the new Project 2 website, which was paying him just shy of $2,000 a month. Josh Moon comes along and starts asking questions. He starts applying the same standards that were applied against him to the Kino Casino.
Look, even now, you see people like First Person come in and say, is that why you declared Dax's house to be a mansion? I said that it was an expensive house because it was in the Hollywood Hills, and it is an expensive house. I would not mind having the money of that house to put towards my own house and not in fucking LA. And not say it was a mansion. If I did say it was a mansion, it was just to piss people off. What was annoying was having people coming over to be irate about this bullshit, which amounted to nothing because it was nothing. And you can still see
No, okay, but he's bullshitting right here, okay? He was just gun guarding, all right? He was gun guarding for his friend because he didn't want to lose a paycheck, all right? That's all it was. Don't come in here and pretend that, like, you were doing it out of some fucking, like, you were making a point, all right? You were gun guarding, that plain and simple.
the remnants of these people who are blindsided by this bullshit, trying to hold me accountable for it when there's nothing that has ever happened. Meanwhile, the person who puts out this information immediately does 180 on everything that he's ever stood for, starts soliciting donations to the tens of thousands of dollars, and uses a power chat system built by the people that he's openly ridiculing, giving full incentive for those people to download and store and keep for blackmail or for cross-referencing later the payment details of his supporters.
There is such a thing as karmic retribution, as poetic justice, and it seems to me that we are now in a situation where PPP and Warski have fallen victim to their very own new Project 2, where the personal, financial, private information of their donators are incredibly compromised.
The hypocrisy bothers me a lot because it was both times that I dealt with PPP, it was a fucking mess. Like the people that think he is some sort of like paragon of virtue and who knows how to hold content creators to some standard that he defines to better the internet, only for him to betray all of that and just start ripping off his retard fans for fucking money using tools that people he does not like. And
I wouldn't go so far to say he's ripping people off, okay? He's just using a sketchy ass website that probably like is not the most reputable. I think they just made a dumb decision by using it, and it is hypocritical because of the crusade he went after, New Project 2, right? But I don't know.
actively defames to get that money is beyond the pale to me.
Are all of the donators on a list waiting to be doxed by Nick Fuentes? Will the list instead be handed to the state? Who is handling this information? Why were PPP and Warski promoting the Power Chat first and foremost above all the other tip jars? Something here stinks. It really stinks rotten. And people are waking up and seeing that hypocrisy is hypocrisy, regardless of whether or not they have the same enemies in common. Just because Ralph is a retard, it doesn't give you license to behave the same way, if not worse, and get away with it. It doesn't give you the
They're not behaving worse, okay, Ralph? Ralph is worse in every way.
license to sell your audience's personal details, their addresses, their bank account details to nefarious forces. People have had enough. They've had enough of any criticism being aimed at the casino being deflected with a point and look, hey, look at what Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes are doing today. Enough is enough. It's time to take some accountability because another man's crimes do not excuse your own. Now, Josh's public exposing of the Kino Casino Power Chat being a weird sort of fed honeypot and all of the Kino Casino donators being compromised led to this explanation from the show itself.
All right. I do have an announcement to make before we go any further into the show. It's with a heavy heart that I have to announce that myself and Andy are working for CSIS. We are actually federal agents. We took a plea deal for hate speech charge. We turned all your names.
Okay, I don't know why Godwinson included this clip. They're obviously joking, right? Like, they do get serious later, so he should have just cut all this shit out because I don't care about this little bit that they do.
Over. All your payment details over to the federal government. We're all going to jail. I'm sorry. It rules. Speaking of that gang, Nick Fuentes, Bake the Last Our homies. We all got rich together, bro. Make it rain, make it rain, make it holla. It's just, but in all seriousness, there's been a lot of I don't know what you want to say, bullshit in the air about Power Chat. speculation, so to speak, about Power Chat. I just briefly wanted to explain to people what Power Chat is, like how it was started, why we were using it, and how it actually fucking works, so people understand. So when Power Chat was first created, it was called Lulz.tips, and it was created by an alcoholic named Lulz. That's an IP2 streamer. So we kept using the service because there's no risk anymore.
No risk.
Let's explain how it actually works.
works.
So far as Baked Alaska owning a portion of it, that's not true. But I will say this, Nick Fuentes, and the reason we're not going to use it going forward is attempting, and this is what's been happening, is he's attempting to extort everybody who's using it for 25% of the profits.
Now, I'm calling bullshit, okay? You're not using it anymore because a lot of people see it's a sketchy ass website, okay? Don't lie. Don't say the reason you're not using it anymore is because Nick Fuentes is now involved, okay? Like I don't understand. Why are you lying right now? Why?
Which is fucking insane. What he did to Lulz earlier this week was he called Lulz up and was like, well, you see, a lot of the people using it are cozy streamers, so if you don't start charging them 25% to use the service and kick it to me, I'm gonna have all the cozy streamers stop using the payment platform.
It stinks. It stinks of a cover-up, of answers not being properly given, of a proper account not being respectfully provided towards the audience and the people that pay you. It is the same sweeping up, Janny-esque behaviour that Dick Masterson performed when he was trying to bury the new Project 2 scandal. Even to deflect away from the criticisms and wage war on Kiwi farms, it's the same playbook. The playbook of desperate men who have been found out.
And I think Josh should thank me for that. At this point, I mean, whatever I seem to cover seems to become the next big thing on his website. You know, you've got Internet Famous now out of New Project 2, you've done Sub Forum out of My Crusade Against Ralph, now the Catboy Forum. So I don't know, Josh should be thankful to me for helping him out. I mean, sure, I butt-fucked him and screwed him out of $2,000 a month, and he did fucking nothing at the time, but seethed resentfully about it, and then finally today come out with this.
So, you know, that's funny to me, but the PPP's chat, that's terrible, right? Like, because remember, they're a whole bunch of pseudo-intellectual fucking losers, okay? So they see him just insulting Josh instead of providing an accurate explanation, and they don't like that, okay? They that makes them seethe, okay? I think it's funny though.
Attacks. But it is what it is, Josh. I've helped you out now. I've set up your whole site for you, your forums for you, and everything, buddy. I don't know what the fucking issue is, but he's still seething about New Project 2 to this fucking day. And this is what it ultimately boils down to, is that Josh is upset and jealous that there's somebody out there that has the charisma and the persuasion skills to influence the users of his site, to make them believe things.
Even for the casino to deflect away from its Power Chat scandal by trying to resurrect the new Project 2 scandal is even more shameful.
So this is Dick Masterson, for those of you who can see on screen, making an announcement that New Project 2 is going to return. He's coming up with a new payment processing alternative.
Dude.
Now, what I find interesting is a week or two on the show, we played a clip of Dick Masterson making overtures to Josh that he misses him, that he loves him.
Yeah.
And now let's also point out that this tweet was liked and retweeted by Nick Fuentes' Twitter account, the Minion 2000. So it seems to me that Josh would probably like to be involved with this new version of New Project 2. So he's coming on this attack so that he can now be a part of New Project 3.
And despite all of this, perhaps what's even more startling is this confession.
But we're going to preemptively end our relationship with Power Chat, since now Nick is apparently going to be involved. But what timing, Ashton? We have some bros, some homies, creating our own version of Power Chat that you log in using the piggyback off Google the same way. And am I allowed to announce the other thing? Like, even
Don't say anything just yet. But there are large developments coming in
massive,
the pipeline.
massive developments.
So PPP and Warski are building their own payment processor?
Yeah, that's probably a bad look, okay? They attacked Dick Masterson for having his own, because he was harvesting data and they didn't know what they were doing with it, right? And I don't know how it's gonna work, okay? They'd have to prove, for me to use the service, they'd have to prove that they're not gathering any of my information, right? I don't think they can if it's backed up by Google, but like, you know, still. Anyways, Godwinson uploaded a follow-up video to this just a couple days later. And yeah, and then so in this first clip we're gonna see here, Andy responds, okay?
So this is the only time they actually address the video, the casino burning down all around.
If you notice the chat, there's a lot of hate towards Warski and you know, tomatoes being thrown in the chat, you know, all that shit, right? And you know, they literally just like they ignore it, right? Like they call it bots, but it's obviously not bots. Like, come on, man.
Around them. Let's watch this, folks. And
oh yeah, shit. Hold up.
Fake donations. Fake donos.
Okay, it's not fake donos either.
So here's my parting gift. What's over? It's over.
It is over. Accept reality.
The show being at an end. Listen, folks, don't believe everything you read and that you see. There are a lot of things out there that are kayfabes there, and a lot of things out there that are just, no, it is what it is.
Tons of tomatoes.
The kayfabe cope for the 99th time is wheeled out to try and save face. I don't think it's going to work, guys. I don't think it's going to work. It may have worked for the brain-dead fans that didn't see the real seed when Jesse came on in a pickle suit. They had to scramble around and say, oh, we planned this. Oh. It may have worked for them retards, but I don't think it's going to work this time. I don't know. I've just got a strange feeling in my bones, folks.
Oh, and then the second clip here.
What's this? Let's click the link. Oh. donation alerts.
A lot of this video is just used to like sort of dunk on them more, you know, because a lot of their chat is revolting against them. You know, a lot of people are aiming their sights towards them, like Ralph, Josh from Kiwi Farms. You know, all these people are sort of aiming their sights at the Kino Casino. Okay, and they're kind of getting lambasted from all sides, and you know. You know, Godwinson is definitely taking his time to gloat. Okay, he's gloating about winning.
Some shit. Huh. This is interesting. Cookies. Oh.
And this is sort of proves that like it's some weird. This is. Oh, I should provide context. Okay, this is Andy Worski's new site that they're making, right? And it already seems sketchy. Okay, basically, he found out that like I don't know how all this shit works, right? But the back of it is like this weird shit where it's all Russian. Okay, it's a Russian website, and hold up,
These are all in Russian.
yeah, it's all Russian. Like the reviews on it, and then the one English review calls it a scam.
Scam.
So yeah, it's not looking too good for Godwinson and PPP, or no, not for PPP and Andy Worski. Okay, and then in this video, okay, this is their response to Godwinson, and yeah, it's not that good. I shouldn't have liked it. It's kind of bad actually. They spend most of this video playing a clip of when Godwinson was talking about how you shouldn't do content for money. You should do content to make good content, right? And you know, and then they're showing that he got paid for that one Kino Casino episode he was on, right? And I mean, like, dude, who gives a fuck, right? Like, you had him on, like, he's not making content to make money, okay? He literally made one appearance and created a channel that he has since abandoned, all right? It's not even monetized, okay? He's obviously not doing it for money, but he will accept money if you're gonna fucking give him money, right? That's like, you're literally giving him a handout, and you're fucking mad that he took it because before he said you shouldn't you shouldn't make money, or sorry, you shouldn't make content for money. Like, so fucking stupid, man. And then they spend the rest of this video letting this guy rant about him. We'll put it in 2 times because yeah.
Video that was kind of like weird and disjointed, and then closes up his channel once again and just like disappears from the scene once again. Now I'm gonna do a video that I didn't really want to do. It's basically because I kind of like Godwinson. I certainly understand him. I certainly understand him because I know what he is, who he is. Yeah. He keeps saying that his channel gets deleted. Bullshit. He deletes his own channels, right? Because he's basically a chicken shit. See, because he is an upper class kid with all the breaks. He's got brains. He's a good looking kid. He's probably got social connections, probably family or schooling or a combination thereof. And he could get any position he wants in society. He could pretty much aspire to any position in society, anywhere from prime minister to Nobel laureate in whatever science or whatever. The guy's got it all. He's got the world on a string. The world is his oyster. But see, he lacks one thing. And this is a key issue. That's why I know that Godwinson is never going to amount to much. Godwinson has no balls. He doesn't have the...
It's such a good clip, man. Godwinson has no balls, okay? So
courage to make a decision. See, because he's intensely attracted to this whole vibe of...
See, I think that's because you don't know how Godwinson is in real life, right? Godwinson probably just doesn't want an online career, right? He just wants to fuck around and then disappear, right? He's not very interested in all this other shit, right?
Of the internet subculture, the internet blood sports and all this shit. He's intensely attracted to it, yeah? And he could be a presence in it. But see, he doesn't dare have a channel permanently because inevitably there'd be troughs.
Or he doesn't care to, right? Like,
peaks and there'd be troughs. And so people know him, but whenever he's there for a while, he runs away out of fear that he's not going to be successful. See? Because he sort of like is paralyzed by all this promise that he has. He has all these options, but he's sort of like caught up in the opportunity cost issue. In the fact that when you make one decision, when you take one path, you inevitably and of necessity close off the other paths. And so Godwinson wants to maintain all paths open indefinitely. He doesn't have the balls to be an adult and simply make up his mind and go in one direction.
I don't know. It's nothing, right? It's all just bullshit. Like, I guess he has no balls, haha. But like, that doesn't discount what fucking... That doesn't discount what he said against the Kino Casino, right? And the Kino Casino is losing subscribers, right? They were at like 19K. Now they've lost almost like they've lost almost 300 subscribers, which is crazy, man. Like, people are really turning on them, dude. Oh, jeez.